Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Wait, Are These Guys Friends? I am Mike, and this is Randy.
Hey, everybody.
What's going to be in this week's episode? I thought we should start telling people at the top, in case they don't read the little preview. They just see our faces, Randy. They see our faces and think, I need to listen now. And then they start and think, what are these guys going to talk about?
God help those people.
I know, those people don't exist. My goodness. We're going to talk, as usual, about what we've watched every week and what we've listened to, what we've consumed. Then I'm going to the Royal Rumble in Tampa, Florida this coming weekend, as of this episode, when it's originally coming out. Randy, who is an old school WWE fan, not really watching the modern product, thought, it'd be really fun. Let's cast a DX movie. And not just any DX movie, a DX movie, we're going to say it's 1999. It's the height of DX. DX is so popular, they're going to make a feature film. It's the DX movie cast as if it's 1999. And then we're going to end that in, we've been talking a lot of sketch comedy in our personal lives. We're going to put together our own dream 5-person sketch comedy. That's this episode. But with that all said, let's dive right in. Randy, what have you watched this week? What have you listened to? What have you consumed?
So I've been really in this season it's the 5th season of Fargo on FX/Hulu, so however you end up watching it. A really, really interesting premise, obviously done from the Coen brothers movie in 96. Noah Hawley is the showrunner or the main writer this year, producer, and he's just come up with a really bonkers story that takes place in both Minnesota and North Dakota. John Hamm plays this kind of MAGA sheriff that lives on his own ranch in North Dakota as a third generation sheriff of this small town where he just kind of runs everything. He diverts town funds to a lot of artillery, so he's kind of started running this militia in North Dakota, which
Real
is
quick, is there any spoiler warning in this that we should be giving right now? How deep in are you about to get?
No, nothing yet. So it's
okay.
This is all just sort of background of him. You know this right away about him. There is very little that surprises. That's an excellent point, though, because I was about to start to just be like, here comes the whole season.
So here's what's going to happen. I am going to say spoiler warning, and I will also come back with an edit later. Me from the future giving you a time code that will say this is where you can go if you don't want spoilers for Fargo. Future Mike will say that right now. Go to 6 minutes and 11 seconds. 6 minutes and 11 seconds to skip this talk. And now we are back to living in the present, and Randy can continue.
I will do my best as I'm going kind of stream of conscious here. If I accidentally do a spoiler, Mike can edit it in later, but I will do my best to just give it kind of a synopsis.
No, we're already in spoiler town. Tell me everything right now. Ruin the fucking show for me.
I don't know. If it wasn't that good, I would absolutely do it, so you wouldn't have to put you through watching it. But it's really, really good this season. And John Hamm, like I said, plays that sheriff character. Juno Temple from Ted Lasso plays the main character, his ex-wife, who has gotten out of sort of a poor, abusive relationship there and has escaped to Minnesota, where she started a new life. There's a lot of just really kind of quirky things that happen as basically she is at a PTA meeting, PTO, I'm not sure. No, PTA meeting.
Personal time off meeting? Sorry.
Yes, right. Exactly.
It's weird that would happen for the entire town. I don't understand why they would do that.
It's strange, It's a very progressive town where they have lots of different social programs.
This show sounds fascinating. You've hooked me already. I'm in.
So, but during the PTA meeting, there's just a very divisive topic comes up, and through the entire kind of melee that ensues, she ends up tasing somebody because they're threatening her, trying to get out of there with her child. And that ends up her getting arrested. That pings something with John Hamm, the sheriff. And so he, who thought the Juno Temple had escaped and never to be seen again, has ended up finding her. And then that's how he chases her down. And that's kind of the beginning of that story. And there's just so much to it that it continues to layer. There's great performances in it. Jennifer Jason Leigh plays Juno Temple's mother-in-law. If you watched Never Have I Ever, which was an HBO show that Mindy Kaling produced, the woman that plays her cousin is in it. I know these are kind of
I would
secondary
say
things.
no.
Dave
One,
Foley, I'm burying the lead. Dave Foley with an eye patches in it,
I just
which
was.
should be your hook right
It
away.
is, and I love that. But I was laughing at your previous credit. It was like, ah, yes, random girl from show I didn't watch with no name. I love her. That's such a good recommendation.
Yeah,
Um,
well, that's a hook if
no, I
nothing else.
love Dave
So,
Foley.
but
Anything he's in, especially, I feel like that man has never gotten the amount of work he should have got. So to have him in a show that
mhm.
is being pretty well regarded, because I've heard his work in it is good from you and others. So that's awesome. I'm all about that. I should really take the time to watch it.
I
How
think,
many
and it's
episodes in the season? Is it finished?
10,
10?
10
Okay.
episodes. Yep, very very Cohen-esque, even though it's like they're just consultants to it, but it has things kind of unfold and like it's a twist and a turn. Oh, this is completely going in one direction, and then something happens that is a complete wild card that changes things.
Do the twists feel organic coming out of
They
like,
do,
you believe
yeah,
them? They're not like, oh, come on.
yeah. No, that's what's great about it is you're astonished at how fucked up it is, but it's a very Cohen feel to it,
Okay.
but it's great. I was not a big fan of the previous seasons of Fargo, the TV series. I love the movie, but
Great movie.
it's this one really has come back with a bang.
I realize this sounds like such a platitude to say it's on my list, but it's genuinely on my list of something I want to watch.
Mhm.
I had talked about it last week in the episode that is lost to time. It's our Prince's Black Album is what it is. It's gone forever. No one will ever. Although I think they eventually released bootlegs of the Black Album and it's been around. So I'm really stretching on that one. It's the first reference I thought of. But I did watch Echo on Disney
Mhm.
Plus.
Do you want to give a brief like synopsis? Just I mean, we don't have to get way into it. Just who Echo is, just so for those who may not know.
Interesting because it's funny you say that because I'd forgotten who Echo was until like the show was about to start. I was convinced that I was about to watch a show about the girl from Ant-Man and the Wasp who could phase. And then I was like, why does she know the King? And knowing that Kingpin was like in it, I was like, why does Kingpin, why is this connection? And someone was like, I was talking to someone, was like, I don't understand why I need to care about in the show. They're like, no, it's the deaf girl from Hawkeye who is Kingpin. I was like, oh yeah, God, I forgot about her. Yeah. So the show is essentially her getting back to her roots. She is Native American and she's reconnecting with her biological family, also dealing with the aftermath of what she did in Hawkeye, which I won't say here, but it involves Wilson Fisk's Kingpin, which means Vincent D'Onofrio is back, and he is as good as you remember and 100% the best part of the show and why you should watch. He crushes it. It's just so nice to be getting back to these street level heroes, which just really feels like what Marvel needs right now. However, the other thing that I've been watching pretty regularly for, much of my life, UWE Monday Night Raw. Because as I mentioned at the top, I'm going to the Royal Rumble that at the time of recording is this weekend in Tampa, Florida. And I'm very excited.
Oh wait, before you do that, can I do my bit of trivia that I discovered this week that I can pump you up from? But
Oh, fuck yeah. Shit. Yeah, hit me. What do you got?
it's a callback to past episodes. So, but it
Oh,
is
okay. Is it the one
it
that
is
we lost? No one else will get the joke
no no
because
no.
it's gone.
This is cursed trivia. So
Oh, ooh,
which
what?
so it's in the what that was that episode 3 when we did our must see TV breakdown.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you talked about Cursed, the Steven Weber show that completely went away from
Yeah.
their premise after 6
And I'm
episodes in.
still thinking about it. I have a note I almost put in the Lost Media episode that I did as our fill-in
Yeah.
that I was like, this is just for me. This is too niche. But you're bringing up Cursed. I love it. What's your bit?
So you when you talked about it, and I hadn't done any research or looked into it and didn't watch the show, so I didn't know anything about it. But you mentioned that he and Chris Elliott were in it, but you failed to mention that Wendell Pierce was in it. And I don't know if that now if you don't know who that is, Wendell Pierce played Bunk on The Wire, one of the main detectives on The Wire. And so and I don't know if you watch The Wire, it's one of the most phenomenal dramas of all time. And it's incredible. He is also Wendell Pierce known throughout that. If you mention The Wire to anybody and you say Bunk, what he would do is do this thing where he go, shit. And there would be like 30 eyes in that shit. To the point where there's goofy videos around where he holds a shit for like, not an actual shit, but holds the word shit for a minute.
Yes, thank you.
Like he'll
Thank
go
you for clarifying.
shit. Like it goes on and on like that because he would say that like elongated shit. God, I keep that. Don't cut any of this
How is this
for
coming to
later.
wrestling? I'm so confused how this is going to connect to either wrestling right now.
It's not. It's just it's something I wanted to pump you up to because we found some curse
Oh,
stuff.
I mean,
So
I love that.
has
No,
has
I love
zero
that.
connection to it. The
I
the in beyond it being about sorry, it's just a little aside, and then we'll go to the next thing. But I'm pretty sure he started doing The Wire right after Cursed. So he went from the absolute bottom of the barrel of garbage TV. Just, you said it was like 7% on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever, to one of the most critically acclaimed shows of all time. Like what a
That's
run for
amazing.
Wendell Pierce.
That is. And you know what? It's funny because I haven't watched The Wire. I've obviously heard all about it. I know that it's the show that used to be the line of people judging you if you haven't seen, then that show became Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
So when I said in the Cursed episode, it stars Steven Weber, Chris Elliott, and a bunch of people you've never heard of. Sorry, Wire fans. My bad. This transitions us into more your pop culture thing. We are going to fan cast D-Generation X, the movie. D-Generation X, for the uninitiated, is a classic late 90s stable. They had some resurgences in other years. We're not going to worry about that. We're talking about classic, like 97 to early 2000 DX, which is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels for part of it, Triple H, Rick Rude. Did you cast a Rick Rude? I casted a Rick Rude.
I can come up with one on the fly. We're good.
All right, notice that. Billy Gunn, the Road Dogg, the New Age Outlaws, X-Pac, and China. We have a couple others for what the story would be. Randy, this was your idea. Why? I just mentioned I was a wrestling fan. We were talking about it, and you texted me. I have an idea for the podcast. Let's fan cast a DX movie. DX was a rowdy heel stable. They were degenerates. That's why they're degeneration. They had crack chops and they used naughty words and they told people to suck it. They were badass motherfuckers. Randy, why do you want to do this?
This was by far my favorite component of my wrestling fandom was D-Generation X. I don't know if it was the time frame of I was a teenager or just it was fun to go around and do crotch chops and tell everybody to suck it. But it definitely was a component of, I can remember in a high school basketball game, one of my teammates got a technical foul because he did a crotch chop to somebody after they scored a basket. Which was, incredible to watch. And so it was all brought into the sports teams I played or the people that I hung out with. It just, everything DX was so much fun. And to just kind of encapsulate how much it turned, like you said, it was a heel stable. They were not supposed to be, and everybody loved them so much because that was kind of the changing of the guard, the turning in WWE anyway, where you could have kind of anti-heroes, or you could have that it was kind of cool to not be a face, not be a heel, just be cool. And DX was undeniably that. And so I thought it'd be interesting just to kind of go into that to see how that changed and how they became that popular and just kind of blew the roof off and pushed the careers of a lot of other wrestlers.
What you do have to acknowledge the NWO, who came around a year ahead before that and were cool heels. However, the NWO got stagnant really fast and never changed, never evolved. And I say that as someone who started watching wrestling post NWO.
Okay.
I've gone back and I've watched a lot of, we've talked about the Wrestling Bios YouTube channel that I love and other things. I've been able to suss out pretty quickly that for as hot as they were, they didn't evolve it and it got stagnant and boring really quick. And DX was able to pick that baton up and just be hipper, cooler, and do more with it is my gut reaction.
Okay.
So in my mind, before we get to our casting, this would be what the movie would cover. The formation of them, which would be Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and China coming together. Rick Rude would be a part of that, but then he would be gone because that would lead right into the Bret Hart feud, and we would have to touch on the Montreal Screwjob.
Yep.
Then that would lead into Shawn feuding with Undertaker, who Shawn gets hurt, feuds with Austin, drops the title, and has to retire. That leads to New Era DX, where the Outlaws come in and X-Pac comes over from WCW. Then you have to find your ending. Does it end with the mid 99 breakup, or does it end with the mid 90 or the late 90, or I'm sorry, the late 99 reuniting and the Triple H title win? They were not broken up for very long
Probably, yeah. You probably just go out on a high note, right?
with them,
With the
the
win.
title win
Yeah.
and them
Yep.
reuniting. Yeah. And because when in 2000, when they technically kind of broke up again, they didn't really break up, it faded away. Billy Gunn got hurt, Road Dogg got fired, Triple H was doing many, many other things. They never technically broke up again. They
I
just, it faded away.
I don't want to speak of the Run DMC theme part, so
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So we know the plot, right? It's the rise and fall and rise again, we shall say, of
okay.
DX is what this movie would be. So we're gonna cast it. First off, you have to start with the Heartbreak Kid, the showstopper, Shawn Michaels. Who do you got?
So again, and you can call me out on these because some of these may be completely out of left field, and we can talk through the casting. So HBK, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am gonna
Break
cast
it down.
Adam.
Oh, break it
I
down.
break it down. That's right. I am gonna cast Adam Sandler as Shawn Michaels.
So I have also casted Adam Sandler, but not as Shawn Michaels.
Oh, okay.
Hit me with your cell and I'm going to mine.
So I
Why
think
Adam Sandler?
because I think he has enough that he could be the gruff guy. Like he could turn into that because he's done enough dramatic stuff where he could turn on the gruff exterior, but then always default to the silly, the goofy, the
You're
over the top part of it.
breaking your own rules. You said this was a 90s era casting. You are not allowed to bring in dramatic Adam Sandler.
That's fair. Maybe we'd find out. So
Oh, this was his big move. This
I mean,
was
not that
it.
HBK. Well, I
He,
meant more that like if he had to be that gruff voice. No, the gruff voice is part of it. So it's I mean, because how often was HBK really that dramatic?
when he lost his smile and had to forfeit his title in the lead up to the summer of
Whatever.
'97.
This is
All
gonna be
right,
his breakout. I'm breaking my own casting, but I'm still saying Adam Sandler. Who do you got?
as do you want me to tell you who I cast Adam Sandler as, or do I have Shawn Michaels?
Do yours, and then then get into who you cast Adam Sandler as, and I'll do mine for that one.
Okay,
So who do you got
so
for HBK?
my HBK is I'm not happy with
Okay.
because I flip flopped my Billy Gunn and my HBK twice.
Okay.
So I'd like to actually hit my Billy Gunn and my HBK
Okay.
because you might be like, what you settled on was wrong. Flip them back
Okay.
because I'm not sold. And in fact, I'm just talking about it. I'm about to flip them back again.
All right. Go
But we're
for
gonna
it.
go with. In fact, I am flipping them back again. This is now my casting.
Okay.
Matthew McConaughey is Shawn Michaels.
Oh, that's great. That's perfect. I can't believe I didn't think of that.
You sold it to me. The gruff voice, the stubble. My flip flopped choice was based on his motor mouth acting and his comedy. Is who I was almost going to go with, but he is better as Billy Gunn looks wise. 99 era Ryan Reynolds, which is in his
Nice.
two guys and a girl era. He is a viable choice as an actor. The reason I wasn't going to put him as Billy Gunn is because he's too good at talking, and Billy Gunn is a terrible promo.
Yeah.
Gunn was a bad promo. He never cut a good promo. There's the reason he only let him go, and that's why we got 2 words for you. And then at a certain point, he even stopped saying "suck it." He just held the mic up for the crowd, and the crowd
Yeah.
said "suck it."
Sure.
Billy Gunn was a bad promo, and so I talked myself out of Ryan Reynolds. But Ryan Reynolds is a good Billy Gunn because 99 Ryan Reynolds would have to bulk up, but he would have the right look overall for being a clean cut blonde guy who could work. But Matthew McConaughey was almost that, but I was like, no, he is Shawn Michaels.
Hey,
Matthew McConaughey is Shawn Michaels.
you win that one. I think that's our casting for that one. I like that a
First
lot
round.
for HBK. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go next to.
Do you want to know who I had for Billy Gunn since we already went there? Do you?
Oh, yeah. And you wanted to know
Yep.
my Adam Sandler. So, yes, hit me with your Billy Gunn, please.
So I had a similar kind of idea. I needed somebody that looked clean cut that I thought could actually put on kind of maybe not that much muscle mass, but enough that we've seen him in other bulked up roles. So I have Matt Damon as Billy Gunn, which is
Oh, that's good. That's really good too.
because he can
I
do that.
like,
He doesn't have to talk, but could still look like he does enough with his face. He's a good enough actor he could do the facial part of it that I think would
yeah,
work.
I
That
like your,
Billy Gunn had to do that because he
yeah,
wasn't good at talking, but Damon could do it because he's a good actor.
I like your Billy Gunn much more. We're going with your Billy Gunn. That is a great call on your Billy Gunn because I know you don't want to go Team America, Matt Damon,
Yeah, that's right.
but but there's something about a monosyllabic guy who can only say a couple of words, but still goes out there and gets the job done, where he suddenly fits that role real well.
Nice.
So we're going. I'm keeping note. We're casting as we go.
I think the actor budget on this is going to be pretty high. So hopefully this movie makes a lot of money.
We're doing okay because you're again thinking modern.
That's true.
99 of these guys. Now, admittedly, this is post Good Will Hunting, Matt Damon, and this is
Yeah.
early success, Matthew McConaughey, but I don't think they're breaking the bank yet. These are not your multi-million
Okay.
dollars yet. I don't think so.
True.
We'll look up their pay figures for the era after we're done casting. We'll look at our actor production budget when we're done casting the entire film. Because
Nice.
here's the thing, Adam Sandler is in my film as well, but he's not cast yet because you could have a better choice for X-Pac.
Okay.
X-Pac is my Adam Sandler. Here's my
That's
sell for
good.
X-Pac. Great talker, great worker, head shaped like a peanut, just like Adam Sandler. People eventually got sick of him and turned on him. Adam Sandler and X-Pac are one and the same. He would hit that
Okay.
goofiness that X-Pac would hit just like he needed to. And if you're talking raspy voice, that's still X-Pac. So,
Yeah.
so
That's good.
who's your X-Pac?
I are you ready for mine? I did it because and thinking of the fact that he's a pretty handsome actor and things like that with the idea that if you had the long hair and the sunglasses on, you'd cover up most of it anyway. I have Johnny Depp as X-Pac. I think we can go either or.
I don't see it.
I think Sandler might be better.
I don't. I mean, I obviously feel that way, but
Yeah.
I definitely was with you on the Matt Damon. You were definitely with me on the McConaughey. I feel like we're at a little bit of an impasse here
Okay.
on this. How strongly do you feel about Johnny Depp? Are you sure you would go Adam
I
Sandler? Are you sure you're okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be interesting just because knowing what we know, obviously, and we had to cast it at the time, but knowing what we know, him being aloof enough playing Jack Sparrow, I think that again, I'm not casting based on that, but I think we might have been able to see that side of Johnny Depp that would work out there. But
Maybe.
I think Sandler is better because he can be, I don't know, like almost explosive.
Yes, and that's what X-Pac would be in 99. X-Pac was a burst of energy in 99, and
Yep.
when he came back in 98, he was huge in 98 still. He was,
Mhm.
before people turned on X-Pac and got sick of X-Pac, he was a big draw in 98, and I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel the Sandler thing right there.
I like it.
Okay, so before I hit Triple H in China, I did cast Rick Rude because Rick Rude was technically a founding member of DX, but he was barely
Okay.
in it because the screw job happened and he quit because he hated what had happened. So he is a part of the story. And he is a famous part of the story because he is the only person to be on Raw and Nitro on the same night because his
Right.
last Raw was taped and then he was on the live Nitro that night as a big gift. So
Okay.
the only choice in my mind here is Tom Selleck because of that mustache. So Tom Selleck is Rick Rude, and I almost can
That's
take
fine.
no options from you. You hadn't cast a Rick Rude, right?
No, and off the top of my head, I went Liev Schreiber. Like that was just kind of out of left field. Like honestly, I don't think it works 100%. Tom Selleck way better. So
I gotta look up Liev Schreiber in '99. I could see that if Liev
if
Schreiber
he grew
grew,
the mustache, yeah,
I would see it. I do not fault you that casting. My casting, I was not casting a man. I was casting a mustache. That's
yeah.
what I was doing. And if we're
That's what
cool with
Rick Rude
that,
is
we'll
known
move
for
on.
too.
Yeah.
So
Until he shaved it to go to WCW because that was how they
yep,
proved it was live. These are the
sure,
things I know instead of math. So, all right, moving on. Do you want to hit me with your Triple H?
sure. Again, would have to pack on. I don't know. 70 pounds of muscle, maybe not 70, but I think if you put on 20 to 30 pounds of muscle, you could feasibly get away with it because at this time Triple H had not gone back from the surgery and come back in what 01 where it was just absurd. I mean, he was very
Or
much
two, but yeah.
02. Thank
He
you.
was getting bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't disgustingly, you're clearly on the juice in
Right.
02. I know you could say, but
Yeah.
he was still skinny-ish
Yeah.
in 98 and 97. But then when he won the WWE title in 99, he looked kind of like how he was going to look. He wasn't quite as big as he would get, but like he had approached his final form. But please tell me who your casting
So
is.
my casting choice here, I think and it'd be interesting to see if he could pull it off, but I like the idea of Keanu Reeves as Triple H.
Fascinating, because I have a Keanu Reeves casting too.
Wow.
And he's not Triple H.
This is awesome.
This is amazing. I do love that we're playing with the era.
Yeah,
We're
sure.
thinking of who, and keep in mind, if we're doing this movie in 99, I'd like to think that he has this script on his desk and he has The Matrix on his desk. And he's like, oh, whoa, I don't know which movie to make.
Yeah.
Neither one could go, whoa, should I make the wrestling movie? Because wrestling's really big. Or should I make The Matrix?
Are you like ready? Like I said, like, are you ready? No, but
So here's why I'm not going to tell you my Triple H yet, because I want you to do your Keanu impression.
Let's get ready to suck it.
He's Bret Hart. He's my Bret Hart.
Yeah, oh yeah, good call.
Listen to the voice, listen to the promo, and frankly, when I see the face.
You know what? I could probably flip my Bret Hart to Triple H, and I think it would still work. So, but
interesting. Tell me who your Bret Hart is.
So it's completely against cast, and I was just like, oh, this would be kind of fun to see it. But my Bret Hart is Nicolas Cage, which I think would be kind of fun for Triple H.
Oh, see, I took Triple H very seriously.
Okay.
I took Triple H very seriously. So we haven't decided. Have we decided on Bret Hart, or are we arguing about Bret Hart?
I like Keanu as Bret Hart. I think that works.
Keanu is Bret Hart. To me, it was the voice. He is definitely one of my stretches on looks, right? I think with makeup and costuming, you could get him close. But when I hear a Bret Hart promo, I'm kind of, even though it's not a surfer dude, with the right acting and cadence, I'm hearing Keanu Reeves.
I like it. Yeah.
So,
good call.
My Triple H is Sean Bean.
Okay.
Picture Sean
Bean. For the look, that's great.
It was the look. I cast this one on look. Especially like mid-90s Sean, or late 90s Sean Bean, pre-Lord. And also, this is the problem too. I had to Google a picture of him in 99 because I thought of him from Lord of the Rings with the long hair. And I thought, oh, could that work? I looked at him in 99, and I think if we had him grow his hair out in 99, he's still perfect.
Yeah.
We need him to know he can do a good American accent. Can he do a good American accent? I can't think of Sean Bean talking in American.
I'd have to look at his IMDb, but I'm not sure. Probably. Okay. We could figure it out.
But that being said, Nicolas Cage in 99, because I have trouble separating the joke that Nicolas Cage has become. He has become a joke. He's become a meme.
Remember the movie that he was in with David Caruso? Was that Nick of Time? Or
I thought, was it Matthew McConaughey in Nick of Time? Or is that Nick of Time is a Johnny Depp movie, by the way. But yeah.
I had in my head I'm blanking on the movie, but in the preview he was like bench pressing his girlfriend because he was the bad guy, and I forget, but he was pretty bulked up in that movie, and so that's
Nicolas Cage bench press movie, Kiss of Death, 1990 with David Caruso. Yeah,
I got the right, not the other two words, but.
I am looking, though, at a photo of Nicolas Cage from this poster, and I do not see Triple H at all.
Okay.
I look it up. Look it up. You tell me, honest to God, Caruso looks more like Triple H in this poster to me than Nicolas Cage. But I feel like I'm steamrolling you with my picks, which, to be fair, it could be because my picks are just bad. That's the way it is.
It might be. So.
Oh, see, I thought you would poke at me more with that. You're just rolling over and accepting defeat. So
I'm very confident in my Road Dog and Austin and
That's
McMahon picks. So
that's good because I am not confident in my Road Dog pick. So are we accepting Sean Bean as Triple H?
I like it. Yep.
You're sure? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Who do you want to hit next? This is who we have left that we've talked about. Did you cast an Owen Hart or did you not?
I did. Yep.
Okay. So we have Owen Hart, Vince McMahon, China, Austin, and Road Dogg. You want to
Okay.
finish out DX and then hit the others? So we'll do Road
Yeah.
Dogg and we'll do
Sounds good.
China.
Yep. Okay.
Who's your Road Dogg?
Woody Harrelson.
I've also casted Woody Harrelson. He is not my Road
Nice.
Dogg. How does this
Oh.
keep happening? Wow.
Wow.
This is
Okay.
awesome and also bizarre. Wow. My Road Dogg is terrible, by the way, so please sell me on your Road Dogg. The problem is I really like my Woody Harrelson where I put him, but I
Okay.
don't like my Road Dogg. So we're gonna have to talk this through.
Yeah, maybe we can find an alternate for you. I just
Probably-
thought Woody Harrelson. I pictured like the White Men Can't Jump character.
Yeah,
I think
that's really good.
could translate into Road Dogg pretty well. That's
And
what
he
I thought.
was leaning into his balding, I think, by the late 90s, early 2000s, and Road Dogg was
Mhm.
always kind of balding, which
Yeah.
informed my casting of Road Dogg in 99 also.
Okay.
But God, that's a really good pick. I really like him as Road Dogg. The
Well-
problem is I also really like who I chose him as.
Well,
I need-
we can not table it, but we'll see what you have for the other one, and we can kind of go back and forth. But
God, sorry, that's a really good Road Dogg. That's a really good Road Dogg. My Road Dogg is not good. My Road Dogg is Jason Statham, who had been in 2 movies by 99 and looked a little bit. The problem is I can only I can only imagine Jason Statham doing Jason Statham's voice. So it's the speech in Cockney. Oi,
oh no,
you ought to know. Or you better call somebody. You sitting over here telling me, oi,
I
you ought to know. You ought to know. This Dude Generation X proudly presents its WWF Tag Team Champions of the World. I can't do a Cockney.
But it have a little more to it. It have more some of this to it. Me right here, I'm the Road Dogg. The Road Dogg, that's me. Over there, Billy Gunn, he's the badass.
Your Cockney Road Dogg. Your Cockney Road Dogg also turned into Sling Blade right at the end.
And then,
Oh God, can you hit me with a little more Cockney Road Dogg before we continue? Because I'm dying. Just anything.
I don't even know if I can get there. So what else was the
I don't just say
Wait.
anything. I don't.
we the outlaws. I can see now I'm off into complete
You
Sling
lost it,
Blade,
you
so
lost
I can't do it. Yeah.
Oh God.
Of mice and men type stuff.
Uh,
All right. Reeling back in here. Who did you have Woody for Owen? Is that what you had?
I had Woody for Austin because Southern redneck,
Oh.
bald. I had Woody as Stone Cold. I thought he was a really good Stone Cold choice personally.
So
Who's your
can
Austin?
I sell you on that we keep Woody at Road Dogg and then we bring in Bruce Willis to play Steve Austin?
Yo, there goes your budget. You're right.
Yeah.
I like his look. I don't. Here's the thing. We are putting Woody as Road Dogg. You're 100% right.
Okay.
Woody is a
Cool.
great Road Dogg choice. Your Woody casting as Road Dogg, I'm in.
Okay.
Which means I don't have an Austin. But the thing is, I don't know if I'd like your Austin.
Okay.
I feel like I have to remember where Bruce Willis was in 99. Because
Mhm.
he was...
That's Unbreakable, right? Around then? Sixth Sense.
It was Sixth Sense. It was Sixth Sense is
Okay.
99. I'm having trouble accepting his energy as Austin. He's a
Okay.
great look, but I have trouble putting him as a drunken redneck part. I'm having trouble placing him in the role as an actor.
Okay.
Not
Mhm.
the look. He looks the part, right? But I'm having trouble seeing him being able to do it well. Woody
Okay.
could do it well, but Woody is a perfect Road Dogg. and you are correct.
Okay. Well, it's
Sell
do you
me
want
on
to sit
Bruce
on that, and
Willis.
we'll just kind of keep thinking? It's
I
well, I
want you to
just
pitch me Bruce Willis as an actor.
it was the look. I mean, that was my
Okay.
biggest thing, is that I thought that, and I mean, it was sort of cheating because Austin has gone on record and said that he modeled some of that character after the Bruce Willis character in Pulp Fiction. So
Okay. Then I could, you know what? I got to think it through because, again, I think I'm thinking of muted later era direct to video Bruce Willis. I'm having a lot of trouble, just like I had with Nick Cage, a lot of trouble separating what he became with what he was at the time.
okay.
So I gotta give me a second. I'm mentally placing this through. I should probably put some like hold music or something down here because I'm not being facetious. I'm talking so that we don't have silence, but I'm mentally getting my head around it. I'm there. It's Bruce Willis. You're right. Bruce Willis is
Okay.
Austin. I had to really work that one through because I was putting too much Southern redneck in there. If I put more, and here's the thing, I was thinking too much of 2000, 2001, what heel Austin, and not
Oh, okay.
Stone Cold. You know, I got to get my head in the zone. You are right. That is good casting. When I
Okay.
think about what that Pulp Fiction quote is, what sold it, because you're right. Good job, you sold me.
Great.
Okay, so our last proper DX member is China. I labored over this one, and
Okay.
I feel like you're going to make fun of me, but I'm so happy with my pick. I really labored over this pick,
Okay.
and this is going to, when I say it, you're going to laugh or you're going to be like, really? I am genuinely happy with this pick. Do you want me to go or do you want to go?
Okay. You can go because I went back and forth between two, and I'm curious where you went. So
Remember, it's 1999 when I say this pick. This is a
Mm-hmm.
viable pick in 1999. Cher. I want to cast
Okay.
Cher as China. And I am dead set on this, and I'm going to sell you on it. But I want you to tell me yours first. Then I will turn it around, and I'm going to sell you as to why Cher is China.
But I'm doing the same thing we did with Jason Statham, where I'm going the other way, and I'm hearing like the Joni voice doing "Believe," and it's a whole other thing. Like it just so my pick, and it might be a little bit of a stretch, but it was more from the physicality, and I think the look could be achieved. I picked Linda
That's
Hamilton
a
for it,
great choice. I would
and
like to know. I
I
am not
think
done
that would
selling you
work.
on Cher. I want you to know that. But Linda Hamilton is a fantastic choice to the point that I'm writing this down because we are going to debate this. Okay.
Nice.
What this
Okay.
comes down to me is muscle and height versus physicality and acting ability. I need to look up real quick.
Yeah.
What is Linda Hamilton's height? Because this is going to be a discussion. Linda Hamilton is 5'6".
Right.
Cher is 5'7". China was 5'10".
Okay.
So that's actually why I chose Cher a little bit too,
Okay.
because I knew she was tall. She was tall, and
Mhm.
she has the black hair. And the other thought I had was she had had a lot of plastic surgery, which by the height of DX, by the time DX got going, China had
Yeah.
started having a lot of plastic surgery. I genuinely feel in the
Right.
face and the height, Cher was hitting the look. Also, she has the acting ability. She won an Oscar. Cher won an Oscar in the late 80s.
Yep.
Between the height, the
Okay.
look, the hair, the acting ability, Cher should have been China if we cast this movie in 1999. However, I
So,
like
Mike-
your pick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Turn me around.
My counter argument is that I don't know how much of the acting ability we will need. That China character, especially in the early stages of DX, was meant to be there just standing there looking
Okay.
intimidating. And I think that Linda Hamilton might lend herself better than Cher to that. But I mean, I guess Cher is a little bit more of a
Okay.
wow
So
factor.
do we have to turn it?
Seeing that
Do we
specifically.
have to? If we're stuck here, right? We're two producers on this big film. And I came
Mhm.
into an office and I
Yep.
went, Randy, I got big news for you. I talked to Cher's people. Cher is interested in China. But then you came to me and you're like, I got bad news for you there because Lynn Hamilton's people reached out to me and she's interested in China. And I'm looking at you and we're going, well,
Okay.
what do we do here? We have to break this. We have to break it down. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
So my only problem is that I would think that Cher would want a piece of the soundtrack, and I don't want that on my DX movie.
Was
Uh, I can't say it for sure that's gonna happen,
all
but
right.
are we gonna get a hit on our
So
hands?
you're
I don't know.
telling me you don't want Cher to cover the DX theme?
That is absolutely correct.
Are you ready? You think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready to bow to the masters, break it down, degenerate into something fool. You just got tired of doing what you told us to do. That's the breaks, boy. Yeah, that's the breaks, little man. Break it down.
Here's my counter argument to
Yep.
you, Randall, Mr. Randall the agent, Randall Finn. It's
Mhm.
1999.
Mhm.
Okay, Linda
Yep.
Hamilton's not a draw. Linda Hamilton is not bringing people in. Linda
Which is
Hamilton's
more the
not
problem.
putting butts in the seats.
We ruined our budget on Bruce Willis.
Also,
We need
frankly,
some money. So we
we
need to
also
pick up some
ruined
things
our
here.
budget on 1999 Adam Sandler. 1999 Adam Sandler is when he started to get paid. So we're
Yeah.
breaking the bank here. So are you telling me? You're telling me we got both these people on the hook. I'm telling you, Cher's going to bring in the seats. I will. You know what? I'll give you visually. I think Linda Hamilton might be better for this movie, but I think Cher wouldn't be
Okay.
bad, and I think she's going to bring in the audience. But is this coming down to a budget scenario? Are we saying we can't afford Cher?
It's
Are we going realistic on our fan
well, I
casting
guess
that we can't afford Cher?
no, but I think no, that's true. I think it now that the more I think about it, I think it would help from a top not top billing standpoint, but to bring in because we can't necessarily promote this movie as Bruce Willis in it, who obviously will be the biggest star in this movie. We can't promote it as Matt Damon in it, you know. So I
Why
think we
can't we
need
produce it?
somebody.
Why can't
If
we
we
promote it as Bruce Willis in it in 1999? Is it because he's dead, like in the Sixth Sense?
we can promote it, no, we can promote him as in it, but he's not the main
That's
character in
you're
this
right because he's
story. So
Austin. You're right. You're right.
yeah. So
You know,
it's
and
I don't
that's a
mind
good
if we
point
put him
too
on
because
the
you're 100% right
poster,
because
but
every other role we've cast, Adam Sandler is a big draw, but as X-Pac, he's coming in halfway through this movie. China's in it the entire
yeah,
time. Is Cher the drawing card, and as
yep,
our two other
and
people, as our Triple H and our Shawn Michaels, they're great, but they're not box office draws in 1999.
yep, okay. No, you sold me on it then. I think as our big draw there,
And
I'll buy
also,
into Cher. Yeah.
while I'm hitting you as a box office draw here, I don't think it's bad casting. I would like to stand by. I chose her for a reason. I don't think it's
Mhm.
bad casting.
Yeah.
So we have two people left to cast. We're gonna go with Owen Hart, R.I.P.
Okay.
Because I think that he is a perfect look for this. And also, Owen Hart was a natural prankster, a comedian, very entertaining, funny guy, both on air and behind the scenes. And I'm going with Alan Tudyk. You know Alan Tudyk. And I
Okay.
would
Yeah.
note that his breakout role had just come the year before in 28 Days with Sandra Bullock, the rehab movie. So he is just
Okay.
on the cusp of being, just on the cusp of being viable.
Gotcha. He might be too young for what I picked, but I mean, weirdly enough, it was just the same name, but I picked Owen
Oh,
Wilson
that's a
for
great
Owen Hart,
fucking
but
choice.
I don't know
Ooh,
if
that's a
he's
good choice. Ooh, I like yours better. I want you to note that. I like yours
yeah,
better, but we have to look at his IMDb because it might not be a viable choice if he wasn't doing things. I'm
yeah.
going to his IMDb right now. We are going to take a peek at this. But if If it's there,
because we're 2 years from Zoolander at
yeah,
that
I
point.
think I think you nailed it because tell me the truth, it's the
Okay.
nose, right? It's the nose and the blonde hair. Be real. It's the nose, right? Yeah, I knew it.
It kind of is. I mean, we're
Where
going on
both of
look
us,
on
I
some
think, were
things. I know
yeah.
it's a,
Oh, Bottle Rocket, he's doing great. Randy, he'd already been in Anaconda and Armageddon by this point. So yeah,
oh, okay. Then
definitely
yeah,
Owen Wilson.
I think
Owen
that's it then.
Wilson is Owen Hart. That's great casting. I'm all in. I love it.
Cool.
Finally, Vince McMahon.
John Voight.
Interesting. Mine's Michael Keaton.
Ooh,
I
okay.
I feel like Michael Keaton could
Yeah.
be more charismatic and more showman-y than John
Yeah.
Voight could. Unless you're trying to get that big Owen
Mhm.
Wilson, John Voight Anaconda reunion. If that's your drawing. Yeah.
Not intentionally, no. Yeah, no, I think I like yours better. I was more thinking of, I went, because John Voight definitely understated, but that was kind of Vince's thing, and then he would blow up, and there's a couple times where
Yeah.
Voight's capable of that, but I think I like yours better.
Okay, so our casting. We have Matthew McConaughey as Shawn Michaels. Matt Damon as Billy Gunn. Adam Sandler as
Mhm.
X-Pac. Woody Harrelson as the Road Dogg Jesse James. Tom Selleck as Rick Rude. Cher as China. Keanu Reeves as Bret Hart. Owen Wilson as Owen Hart. Bruce Willis as Stone Cold Steve Austin. Michael Keaton as Vince McMahon. And I would like to throw out 2 more, not fan castings, cameo castings that I think we could get away with in 1999
Okay.
because they were both acting at that point as breakout stars. The Rock playing himself.
Yep.
Because he had already started doing, he was
Sure.
doing Star Trek Voyager by this point. He had done a guest spot there. And he had also shown up on that 70s
Okay.
show playing his dad. So he could cameo as himself.
Right.
And Mick Foley had just had the book come out, was a big breakout star, and was doing a couple random TV show spots.
Sure.
They're not in the movie, but they can cameo as themselves. I feel like it would be, if we're making it 99,
I like it.
it would be a big draw. Randy, I don't have time to do all the research I want to do for this right now. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to do all that research, and we're going to time travel again. We're going to time travel again, Randy. I'm going to come back and say the number, and then I'm going to edit in, and I promise I won't use the audio from before. Either you reacting positively or negatively. Hit me with a shocked reaction. Go.
Wow, that's it. Okay, I mean, I think we can really get away with this then.
Okay, now give me one where we've made a terrible, terrible mistake.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's do it anyway. I don't care. We're going to sink all this money. No one's ever going to do this. No one's ever going to see this movie, but hey, it doesn't matter. It'll be our lasting legacy that we put this to film, even though it'll have a legacy as either a phenomenal movie that was just brilliantly cast or one of the biggest box office bombs of all time. Either way, we're going to be tied.
You're saying this is our
notoriety.
Ishtar, is what you're trying to tell me. This is what we're doing here.
1941, here it comes.
I'm also just really proud I was able to work in an Ishtar reference today. And I'm not going to explain what it is to anybody who doesn't know. I want you to have to find that out for yourself. Okay. All right, this is Mike from the future. I've time traveled after doing all of my research. Here's what we got. Moving from the bottom up, Sean Bean only gets $250,000 per movie in 1999. However, Cher gets $1 million, Matt Damon gets $5 million, Woody Harrelson gets $5 million, Adam Sandler gets $8 million, Matthew McConaughey gets $10 million, Michael Keaton gets $12 million, Keanu Reeves gets $15 million, Bruce Willis gets $17 million, and 17% of the gross. Before that gross, we're already looking at $73 million just with our cast. I texted this to Randy, and his response was, "We are dumping a lot of money into 20 minutes of screen time," regarding Bruce Willis. He also hit me with the reference that the WWE Studios film Fighting With My Family, which had cameos from The Rock, was produced by The Rock and was about WWE wrestler Paige's journey from obscurity into stardom, made $41 million worldwide on a budget of $11 million. We are going to have to make a lot of money for this movie to be profitable with this cast. We do not record this in the same room. I don't want to break the fourth wall here, but we live many, many miles away, states away. We take the time to do this. We do look at each other. I'm staring at your beautiful face right now, Randy, across a video chat. You know, compliment me. That's fine. That's cool. You know, good to see you too. You fuck. I self-confidence issues. That's fine. Anyway, quite
No, I'm
fantastic.
just stunned in silence by your visage. So
We saw each other in person, and we'd had a couple drinks, as you do, and we are like, "What could we do? Just goofing around." And you're like, "You know, it'd be a great idea. Like, who are your favorite sketch comedians? Form a 5-person sketch comedy troupe. Like the Kids in the Hall were 5 people. Pick 5 people." I'm like, well, what's the criteria? And you said any sketch comedy show, pick your 5. And I threw out one caveat: you can only pick 2 people from Saturday Night Live.
yeah,
The entire run of Saturday
Too
Night
long,
Live, you can
yeah.
only pick 2 people. They have too many all-timers.
yeah.
You get 2 tops.
Okay.
So, not saying you have to, but that's what you get, right? So, here's, how do you want to do this? Do you want us to name my 5? Do you want to alternate? How do you want to handle this? How do you want to handle this name off?
Yeah, let's alternate. I think
Okay.
that's more fun that way than just trying to react to 5 at once.
Okay, so my number 1 pick, my
Okay.
first pick is an SNL person, and I debated on this one, right? It was either going to be Phil Hartman or Bill Hader. My first draft of this list had both of them on it, but I decided I needed more variety and I could only choose one, I feel like, because while they both have different capabilities, they also bring a lot of the same skills in different eras. So I feel like I'm betraying someone by picking one. But between Phil Hartman or Bill Hader, I chose Bill Hader to be in my 5-person all-time comedy troupe.
This is amazing. That was my exact problem with my number 1 pick. Like literally exact. Like I between those two, because I wanted to start with my complete everyman can do everything, but can be the straight man if they have to, but it can also be, could just take on whatever they need to. And I went so much back and forth with it because I adore Phil Hartman to the end.
Yeah.
And what it came down to eventually was, with all things the same, Bill Hader can do more impressions
Yes.
than Phil Hartman can. Not that Phil Hartman can't do impressions, but Bill Hader is just unbelievable at them. Can do so many random ones, which are really fun and out of left field. So Bill Hader is also my number 1 pick.
It's
amazing.
not just the impressions, which Phil Hartman could do so many good impressions. There is, when you see Bill Hader behind the scenes or you see interviews with him, he has, like, you know how you hear about those musicians who have perfect pitch where they can hear a note and replicate it immediately? He has that with sounds and voices.
Yep.
And he's my number 1 sketch comedy draft pick. Who's your number 2? We both shared a number 1. You get to pick number 2. Who's your number 2?
Okay, so I'm going to slide. I stayed a little bit more even keel because I've got some boisterous people in here that are more the explosive part of it. But my number 2 overall pick, and it may be because he's always been my favorite in Monty Python, which is kind of a weird thing. Is I love Michael Palin because I think of what he can do. So he is my number 2 overall pick, Michael Palin.
Fantastic. He is my favorite member of Monty Python. Always has been. I for much of the same reasons. John Cleese could be funny, but he could be he would steal. When I say steal a scene, I mean that he could dominate a scene in an overbearing way sometimes.
Great.
It's like, bring it back. A lot of them could, except for Terry Gilliam, who was more of an animator anyway. Terry Jones was also there. That sounds so mean. So, no, that's a really good pick. I did not pick anyone from Monty Python, but if I would have, Michael Palin is a fantastic choice. I have a book on my bookshelf that is, they apparently put these out in the early 2000s, and I only have his. It was each Python member did a small, like, novella picking their favorite Python bits. The only one I own is Michael Palin's. And he does an intro, he does an outro, he has some notes in it. It's really cool.
Okay.
My next pick, and it seems at first, because you mentioned Everyman for Bill Hader and Phil Hartman, I don't feel the Everyman quality for them. I feel like they're top flight player. My Everyman is Dave Foley.
Nice.
My Everyman is because he can do character work. But if I want a true straight man, not like a goofy straight man, because Bill Hader can be a straight man, but Dave Foley is a normal guy. He can come off as a normal dude. I don't remember Phil Hader ever playing a normal dude.
Right.
And also, I chose a woman who I'll reveal later. Dave Foley could be a good second woman if needed, based on Kids in the Hall. If I would like to know if I could have picked two kids, it would have been Kevin McDonald, because to me they are a tandem.
Sure.
When you watch the show, they are generally a tandem. Behind the scenes, they were writing partners. But based on this criteria, Dave Foley is my second choice.
Okay. I think that's great. He just missed the cut in my 5. Is that I'm a giant fan, and I think again he can play kind of everything, which is super helpful in this regard. If you only have 5, you need something that everybody has to be able to do certain things, but it's tough without.
I've never been a Bruce McCullough guy. I've never been a Mark McKinney guy. Bruce does good stuff, but it's not my favorite stuff.
Yep.
Dave Foley's monologues that he did on Kids in the Hall, Mass Murderer, Bad Surgeon, things like that. People don't think about him in those. I don't think they think about him with those monologues. I do. He's so good.
Sure.
My third choice is Carol Burnett, because she is an all-timer. If you've never watched the Carol Burnett show, go to YouTube right now. Come back to this later. Just start watching her sketches from her show. Her entire cast is amazing. I'm a massive, massive Tim Conway fan. He was so good in anything all the time, but the show couldn't exist without her. And it wasn't just that she could play a straight woman. She is, for her era, like a female Bill Hader. She was a chameleon. She could do anything in her cast, in any role, in any function. Carol Burnett has to be in this cast.
That's a great call, and one that honestly didn't even make my list as I was like running down everything. So that is a giant omission on my end. It did not make my 5, an absolutely notable and completely warranted choice, I think.
Great. Who's your number 3?
So my number 3 is I've got my 2 people that can play silly if we want. We got our impressionist. I think Palin can play either the straight man or he can be off the rails crazy. But I'm going to go even more into the comedic aspect and just completely more scathing into things. Dave Chappelle is my third overall pick.
I wrestled with that one. I really did. I wrestled with Chappelle and Eddie Murphy. I feel like both of them have such 2 eras of them, right? Classic, some of the best sketch comedy ever made. I had trouble putting them in an ensemble, because even though Eddie Murphy was in an ensemble, it wasn't really an ensemble at the time. It was the Eddie Murphy show with everybody else. Dave Chappelle is an amazing sketch comedian. I wrestled with this, Randy. Why exactly did he make your list?
Honestly, it's the way I constructed my 5 people. So as I was putting it together, I need him to be the person that doesn't stand out, but everybody else can play off him if need be. Like, he doesn't have to be completely at the forefront, but he's sort of he's not my number 1 pick, but he will highlight certain things because he's over the top.
I was going to say, are you calling him like the lead of your show? But I guess that's not necessarily accurate. It's just
No, I just need him in a certain lane of the absurd, the over the top, whereas everything else the other contributors can play restrained, or they can join in with his over the top.
But the way you explained that was so good, because my next choice is for the exact same reasons, but I avoided Chappelle because I felt like he would just take it over too much. And frankly, even though this wasn't from his sketch era, his modern stuff really skeezes me out lately. So I avoided him.
Sure. And it might blow up in my face, by all means.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And to be fair, my next choice is because my cast was looking a bit too white at this point as well. You need diverse voices, you need more. But so if you want this to be a good show, a good sketch comedy show, you need more voices, you need more perspectives. I almost kept going more utility players, but I did realize I needed something to bring the chaos, like you were saying, right? I was thinking about Deborah Wilson from Mad TV originally as a utility player type, but it was too low key, right? But she was great. I didn't watch a lot of Black Lady Sketch Show, but I was thinking Robin Dede was fantastic, but I just don't know enough about her, and I wasn't her target answer. I didn't watch a lot, so I didn't go. But I wanted to bring some diversity to the cast, and I needed to bring some chaos to the cast. So Tracy Morgan is my next choice for
boy.
sketch. All my other choices are so buttoned up, so
Yeah.
proper. I needed chaos. I needed manic insanity. And I feel like we're playing in a similar lane in that regard on this choice. That's my fourth choice. That was your third choice, right? You're next for your fourth. Am I correct? Did I miss one?
Yeah. So I break it down for me again. Your
My
four so
current
far
four are
are
Bill Hader, Dave Foley, Carol Burnett, Tracy Morgan, while you have given me Bill
got it.
Hader, Michael Palin, Dave Chappelle, and
Gotcha. So my fourth pick is Maya Rudolph.
ooh,
I'm a
yeah,
giant fan of everything she can do. She's so versatile. That's, I think, one of the
yes,
things that I enjoyed the most about it. And there are a multitude of things. She's very likable. I think there aren't a lot of people, I think, that dislike her. You see her in a sketch, you're just like, ugh, I don't want to watch this. I'm very polarizing on Kristen Wiig, so it's one of those things where I'm back and forth. There are things I enjoy of her, and there's a lot of things I don't like
we
at
are
all. Like I'm very, and so
we are so 100% in tune on that. Both, I love your Maya Rudolph pick. Everything you're saying is so good and such a good choice. I love that. That's a good call on being able to fill. We're picking a lot of people who obviously can fill any roles, but also
yeah,
there are a lot of other people who could fill any roles, but don't bring the level of talent that she brings to those roles. And
I think she could play off a lot of the people that I chose too well. I think that's the other reason I liked it. I think she could be in a sketch with Chappelle without being completely overshadowed, but
yes.
even if she was, she could get something in that would still be funny.
And I agree with you also on Kristen Wiig because there was a long time. I think of her SNL run. I like a lot of her movie stuff that she's done. I
Yeah.
really don't like her SNL run. If I could never see another Gilly sketch again, I would be. I hated that shit. I hated that
Or
shit.
the Weekend Update stuff with Fred Armisen, I wanted to
Yes.
punch them both.
Yes.
I usually like Fred
Me
Armisen,
too.
but it's
I
the only one that that was so stupid that I enjoyed it was the password thing where she was the
that was
old,
okay.
like, out of
I
touch actress. It just made me, I don't know, it made
my
me laugh, but it was
my
maybe it was just comparatively.
my favorite Kristen Wiig bit because the password thing never did it to me, but was the Lawrence Welk show where she was always the freak at the end. I always enjoyed the Lawrence Welk bit. It was the same joke every time. I don't care. I
Yeah,
enjoyed it every time. So
that's fair.
my final pick
Mhm.
actually plays into temperament wise the Maya Rudolph thing because I went from
Okay.
extreme chaos, right? And finally, it's because I couldn't stop thinking about SCTV. I felt like I needed somebody from
Yeah.
SCTV in here. My gut reaction at first was Rick Moranis, a deceptive choice who I
Mhm.
think is who I think is forgotten for what an amazing sketch comedian he was. Like Bob and Doug are
Sure.
fine. They're fine. Love Bob and Doug. But so much of else what he's done was good. But no, the answer, the clear choice is John Candy. John
Yeah.
Candy that went to make movies was fine. I like him fine enough. Go watch the John Candy best of SCTV that you can find on YouTube. Because you know what I loved about this? And as someone who has lost a lot of weight in his life, dealt with a lot of like fat guy image issues, aside from he being hilarious and creative, he is the rare fat guy comedian where his comedy has never had a lick to do with his weight. It never had a
Yeah.
thing to do with him being fat. He was so creative, so good at any role. And yeah, he was a big guy. And if the joke worked, it would come up, right? But overall, it didn't matter. He was too good, too versatile, and he was so kind and could also play so skeezy. And he was
Yeah.
amazing. My final choice is John Candy. My cast is Bill Hader, Dave Foley, Carol Burnett, Tracy Morgan, and John Candy. Who do you got?
That's that's awesome, and it killed me, but he was one of the last on my cutting room floor to make my top 5. I was really I was conflicted over it.
I'm shocked because
But
I thought that was going to be such a dark horse pick that you would have been like, wow, I never even thought of him. I really thought that. That's amazing.
no, to me, in my mind, he was because I can see the appeal of Martin Short. He got a little bit annoying. He's a force of nature, and just thinking about SCTV in general. But Candy did so many great things that were so diversified. Short was always kind of the same thing. It felt
I
like
love
it
Martin.
was amazing,
I
but it was
love
always the same
Martin
thing.
Short movies, and I love Martin Short on talk shows and as a comedian, and his, Only Murders in the Building and all that is great. As a sketch comedian, Martin Short was Kristen Wiig. He
Yeah.
was, and
Yep.
for the same reasons I didn't like her sketch comedy, I don't like his sketch comedy.
Yeah.
It is what it
And
is.
I don't think he was that he wasn't that much on my, when I looked at my and wrote down things off the top of my head as much as I could, kind of looked at sketch comedy shows to give myself an idea. I came up with 30 and I had to narrow it down from there.
Nice.
It was tough to be like, all right. And then I got down to 10 and then it was really kind of a tricky, and John Candy was either the second to last or last one that I cut from there. And my thought process really was, because I agree with everything you said about John Candy. I think he's just a marvelous sketch comedian. Just there were things that he did that were funny, that were he could play bravado, but he could play kind of chicken shit and like all this other stuff that was just great. And he's a great actor anyway.
Yes.
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 JFK is one of my favorite movies of all time, and he's incredible in that as a dramatic actor.
Yes.
But he's been obviously great in all the other movies too. So, but getting to my fifth pick, I leaned more into the fact again, it's not that Chappelle is my lead, but it's just playing off of everything that we could do. I needed people that were versatile in my troupe, and I wanted somebody who could be able to do a little bit of everything. And it may be a little bit, but I think he has a little bit more bombastic. He has another gear that allows him to be explosive or volatile. And so my final pick is Keegan-Michael Key.
Oh, God. Yes. So, if we pick a sixth man, and I was going to ask you who would be your sixth man here, right?
And we could do that. That's
well,
fine.
I just as an off, if you knew who just made the list.
Yeah, no, of course. I think that's fun. It's a good exercise.
Keegan was so close, but Jordan Peele is my sixth man. Jordan Peele was going to be right there.
Okay.
Because I liked Keegan, but Keegan could go a little too broad for me sometimes. If you look at my cast is pretty understated, except for Tracy Morgan, who brings that energy. I like a lot of that type of humor. That's probably just my style. Not that you can't go weird, bizarre, avant-garde, but the energy is maybe a little more subdued. And to me, Jordan Peele was right there. And I really wanted him in, and I just couldn't get it. But I was desperate to get Key and Peele in there somehow. Keegan is a great choice for your it sounds like I'm being rude, for your show. No, for the troupe that you're
that one that no one will watch.
For the troupe that you are building, I love that. And he is such a good choice. And I love Key and Peele. And you're right, there were so many other shows I've thought about, I was thinking of, that I was like, they're good, but they're not on the level of where I want to get to. But please tell me more about Keegan-Michael Key. Keegan-Michael Key.
I should have done that. I should have done Keegan-Michael Peele, and I could have got away with the 2 for 1. But I think he, like I said, I think he, to some extent, mirrors what Hader can do. But then also, you think about the Obama translator, like those type of things, and other things where he's enough that he's out there, that it just gets a little bit wild, where things that seem completely overreacting to a reasonable situation. And I think he is that guy that I need for that part of this troupe. I don't know if everybody else does that to an extent in who I've assembled. So I like him in that role, even though he can kind of slide back into, if I want to make Bill Hader be an awesome impressionist in a sketch where it's a game show or something like that, I need another guy who can play the host. Keegan can do that.
Okay. I like that. No, that's really good. And since I gave mine, do you have a off the tip of your tongue sixth man that you would immediately slot in if you could?
I think I struggled with it back and forth, but it's probably either Bob Odenkirk or Keaton Thompson. I'm going to cheat and say one or the other, but it's one of those two.
Between those two, I would throw Bob Odenkirk in immediately. I love Keaton. Keaton can deliver a single line and get a laugh better than most other people ever. The problem is, I feel like he's been doing the same shtick for 15 fucking years, and I'm tired of it. Yeah. Bob Odenkirk is also on my short list. He was right there, but he's so fucking good. But he just didn't make the cut. But no, so that's a great.
So do you have your list in front of you? Do you have like 5 more that you were struggling with? I'm just curious.
I talked through most of my struggles.
It's just fun.
There,
it's just fun.
No, I talked through most of my struggles, and I narrowed it down to 5 and deleted the rest. Now, if you heard me mention a name, they were on the short list already, and they were
Gotcha.
But is there anyone else you're desperate to mention?
No, I was just more kind of curious. The show, it was fun to go back and look at, like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like in Living Color missed on some things,
Damon
but I mean some
Wayans.
things from
Damon
there.
Wayans was
It's
real close. Damon Wayans was real
yeah,
close. Top 10. He could have been there. Jim Carrey, not in the top 10, even though he was great on there, but
yeah.
Damon Wayans was fantastic on there.
Anybody from the state? I had, it was tough because there wasn't anybody that kind of was, Showalter was okay. I love Thomas Lennon and Joe Latruglio, so I have them as but they got eliminated pretty early.
I never liked Michael Ian Black. He
Yeah.
has
No,
he annoys the hell
he's
out
a bit
of me.
much.
I do not like him. I'm sure he's a fine person. Everything I'm saying is so
Yeah.
declarative, like fuck that guy. No, I've never liked his comedy. I'm sure he's a wonderful
Yeah,
human
fair
being.
enough.
The
Mhm.
state was fine. It was never for me. And there's a lot of people, like if you're looking at sketch comedians and other people, I wasn't sure where we were going to go. I hate anti-comedy. I hate
Mm.
cringe comedy can be fun. Like I like Nathan Fielder. I love a good, bad, cringy episode of The Office where you feel it make you squirm.
Yeah.
But anti-comedy, like Tim and Eric, where the comedy is that we're not being funny, and that's so I fucking hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
I know it takes work, but it also, to me, at the same time, feels so lazy. It just doesn't do it for me. So they would never have been anywhere
And
near my show.
that's fair. And I think the state was at its best when it leaned into the quirky
Yeah.
more than the anti-comedy, and which they would do at times. But that's a different.
I think that's maybe
discussion for
why
different
I was not judging. Or I feel like when I think of Michael Ian Black, I think of the state, and then when I think of the state, I think of Michael Ian Black. When I think of Michael Ian Black, I'm thinking more anti-comedy because I feel like he's leaned
Yeah.
into that more than the other.
And that was
cast members.
he leaned into that beyond compare. Yeah.
And so
it's
I just it immediately kind of ruled it out for me. Even though you're right, I like a lot
Fair.
of their cast. Yeah, but so I think that's every topic today. So let's talk a little housekeeping, shall we? So
Yeah.
we are going to record next week another full episode. But when we record that, we are also going to record a small little special. We're debating quite what that's going to be, but it's not going to be a full episode, but it's going to be the two of us bantering. It's not going to be me rambling with fake Randy audio again. At least I hope not. But we are going to be releasing that in 2 weeks. If you have any suggestions, things you'd like us to talk about in a short form episode, something where we're not going deep in, let us know, because we both are working a whole lot in 2 weeks. We are both on the road. We are both doing our real life jobs. Exhausting, terrible of us, I know, but we're getting things out there. We want to make sure we keep putting out content every week. Randy, any final thoughts on anything before I give the big hard sells and the big plugs?
No. Go away and be a shill.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. Thank you for your permission. I always feel like I'm going to steamroll you with that. And I want to give you your moment because I will talk over you if given the opportunity at any given moment. So, because I'm a terrible.
It's usually fine because I never have anything to say at that point anyway.
What I like about the editing control that I have is that when I edit this, it renders out our tracks as two separate tracks that I can just cut out anything I want from you. So I can talk over you all day long and it'll be like you were never talking. It's fantastic. I love it. So anyway, the shills. You're staring at me. You're just like, I fucking hate this guy. Anyway, leave us a like, leave us those 5 stars, leave us reviews. I know that's shills, but any engagement we get from anybody helps us get to more people. And we like doing this for people. We are not doing art for art's sake. We like talking to each other, but if we were trying to just talk to each other without other people hearing it, we'd do that. And I don't want to do that. That sounds exhausting.
No.
I need the audience. I need the attention. Some of that attention that we get comes through reviews that you guys leave, and you leave us nice reviews. We'll read them here on the podcast. Ben on Spotify said, I learn something new every day, and this podcast boosts the amount of new knowledge I never knew I needed. Love Sesame Street and The Wizard of Oz. Knowing these two are connected blows my mind. And personally, just for me, that makes me feel good because that stat came from the fill-in episode we did last week that I had to record on the fly in an emergency when we had technical difficulties. So glad to see something good coming out of that one. Over on Apple Podcasts, CB7997 said, I really enjoy listening to Mike and Randy. Their banter makes me smile and their passion for the subject matter shines through. Admittedly, I don't know a lot about comic books, but I'm enjoying learning more. Looking forward to hearing more. So, hey, thanks, everybody. If you need to reach out to us, you can do it in reviews. You can also find me at Mike Barcode. That's MikeBarcode on Instagram, on TikTok, or you can email me at mikebarcode@gmail.com. Randy is a silent enigma, a silent partner. You can find him out there somewhere, and if you do, good luck to you. And we'll mention it if you managed to stalk him. Please don't stalk him. To find his social media, please don't actually do that. I should cut that out. I shouldn't even. I'm not going to cut that out. I'm not going to do it. But with that, we will call this episode good. We will talk to you all next week. I've really enjoyed this. We'll figure out what the hell we're talking about next week. Bye. Hit me with a bye. Say goodbye.
See you, everybody. Thanks for listening.
There you go.